Hello there, and welcome to another meaningful episode of Learn English Today. I'm genuinely delighted you've decided to join me for today's conversation. I understand that improving your English skills matters to you, and I'm committed to supporting that goal. Together, through careful practice, thoughtful discussion, and steady progress, we'll work on developing your English abilities while exploring important topics about our world and human experience. So, thank you sincerely for being here with me right now. My name is Julia, and this podcast was created specifically for English learners like yourself. Perhaps you're studying English to advance your career prospects, to succeed in academic environments, or simply because language learning brings you joy and satisfaction. Whatever motivates you, you're investing in yourself, and that deserves recognition. So congratulations for showing up today and making this commitment to growth. Everyone walks a different road. Acquiring a new language certainly presents challenges, but the journey becomes more engaging and rewarding when we practice through authentic topics that stimulate thinking and reflection. Throughout this podcast series, I aim to present subjects that benefit not only your listening comprehension and speaking abilities, but also enrich your understanding of life itself. Today's theme represents one of those fundamentally important concepts that shape how we view humanity. Our topic is, everyone walks a different road. What exactly does this phrase communicate? Why should we dedicate time to examining it carefully? The reality is that while we all inhabit the same planet, we don't experience identical circumstances. Some individuals reside in spacious homes with every comfort imaginable. Others lack permanent shelter entirely. Certain children attend well-resourced schools, daily with supportive teachers and abundant materials. Other children must contribute labor to support struggling families. Some people enter the world into prosperous, stable families, while others arrive into circumstances marked by hardship and uncertainty. This represents a fundamental truth about human existence. Yet, it's something we rarely contemplate deeply or discuss openly. Today, I want us to reflect on this reality together, using clear language and thoughtful consideration. Why does this matter for someone learning English? First, it exposes you to authentic language, the vocabulary and sentence structures that people actually use when discussing social reality and human experience. Second, it cultivates your capacity to understand different perspectives and life situations. When we genuinely learn about others' circumstances, we develop greater wisdom and compassion. Third, it encourages you to think directly in English rather than translating from your native language. This cognitive shift is tremendously valuable if you want to communicate more naturally and fluently. Throughout this episode, we'll examine how human experiences vary dramatically from person to person. We'll pose questions like, why do some people enjoy easier circumstances while others face constant struggle? What insights can we gain from acknowledging this reality? How might this awareness help us become more thoughtful, caring individuals? Don't worry about the complexity. I'll use accessible English throughout, speaking clearly at a moderate pace and explaining concepts in straightforward terms. You're also welcome to listen repeatedly to reinforce your learning. So, are you prepared to begin? Let's embark on this exploration of an essential human truth. Everyone walks a different road. Let's think critically, learn actively, and develop together. Understanding the core message. Let's start by examining a straightforward question. What does the phrase, "everyone walks a different road," actually communicate? You may have encountered similar expressions before. It's a common way English speakers acknowledge something profoundly real about human existence. But what deeper meaning lies beneath these simple words? Let's unpack this concept systematically. When we say everyone walks a different road, we're acknowledging that each person on earth experiences life uniquely. Not everyone encounters identical situations. Not everyone receives equal resources or opportunities. People inhabit different geographical locations. People emerge from different family structures and cultural backgrounds. People confront different obstacles and challenges. Some individuals navigate relatively smooth paths through life. Others face continuous difficulty and hardship. Some people possess considerable wealth, while others struggle with poverty. Some enjoy robust health, while others cope with illness or disability. This phrase serves as a reminder that every individual's life journey differs in countless significant ways. Let's examine some concrete examples to clarify this concept further. Consider two children born in the same year. The first child grows up in a substantial house in an affluent nation. She attends an excellent school with small class sizes and experienced teachers. She has access to toys, books, nutritious meals, and safe spaces to play. She has caring parents who actively support her education and emotional development, reading to her nightly and helping with homework. Now, envision a second child living in a rural area with limited infrastructure. His family struggles financially with inconsistent income. There's no school within reasonable walking distance. He rises before dawn each morning to assist his parents with agricultural work or other labor necessary for family survival. Food scarcity occurs regularly. These two children share the same age and human potential, yet their life circumstances differ dramatically. This illustrates what we mean when we say everyone walks a different road. Consider another scenario involving two adults. One person holds a secure position at an established company. She travels internationally for business, utilizes technology seamlessly throughout her workday, and communicates competently in multiple languages. The second person resides in an isolated community and has never ventured beyond his home region. He performs physically demanding labor daily for minimal compensation. He never had access to higher education or professional training. Both individuals possess inherent worth and likely work hard within their circumstances, but they've had vastly different opportunities. Again, this demonstrates that everyone walks a different road. We can also consider variations in physical health and ability. Some people are born with bodies that function easily and reliably. They walk, run, see clearly, hear well, and move through the world without significant physical limitations. Others may be born with conditions affecting vision, mobility, or other capacities. Perhaps they experience chronic pain, require assistive devices, or need regular medical intervention. These individuals navigate daily challenges that others rarely consider or even notice. Even in matters of health and physical capability, life differs substantially between people. Even something as arbitrary as birthplace creates enormous differences in life experience. Someone born in a peaceful, stable nation with functioning institutions may never worry about violence, political persecution, or basic security. Someone born in a region experiencing conflict, authoritarian governance, or systemic violence may grow up with constant fear and uncertainty. They may lack access to safety, quality education, clean water, or reliable health care. Things many people in privileged circumstances take completely for granted without conscious awareness. This represents yet another dimension in which everyone walks a different road. Now, I'd like you to reflect personally on your own life circumstances. You carry your own unique story. You face your own particular challenges and enjoy your own specific advantages. Perhaps you've worked extraordinarily hard to reach your current position. Perhaps you've benefited from fortunate circumstances that many people never experience. Either way, your life is distinctive and different from everyone else's journey. That's perfectly acceptable. That's simply how human existence functions. This concept isn't intended to generate sadness or despair. It's not merely about economic class or comparing winners and losers. It's about recognizing that we're all traveling different paths through life. Some paths are smooth and well-maintained. Others are rough and treacherous. Some journeys are long, others surprisingly brief. But no two people walk exactly the same path with exactly the same conditions. This represents the profound meaning contained in our simple phrase, everyone walks a different road. When we internalize this understanding deeply, we begin perceiving other people differently. We reduce the tendency toward constant comparison. We stop asking questions like, why does that person have more than me? Or, why does their life appear better than mine? Instead, we develop an understanding that life doesn't distribute experiences fairly or equally, and that's simply reality. This recognition doesn't mean we stop aspiring toward improvement. It doesn't mean we surrender our ambitions, but it does mean we cultivate kindness toward others. We develop patience with our own journey and circumstances. So now you understand that this straightforward phrase contains significant wisdom. Everyone walks a different road. When we comprehend this deeply and sincerely, we become better human beings. We become more understanding, more grateful, and more authentically human in our relationships with others. Diverse circumstances create distinct challenges. Having established what we mean by saying everyone walks a different road, let's explore more deeply how people actually live different lives. Every person worldwide possesses a unique life narrative shaped by countless factors. Some inhabit sprawling urban centers, while others live in remote rural areas. Some enjoy material abundance, while others experience scarcity. Some have numerous opportunities available, while others have remarkably few options. These differences fundamentally shape how people live, what they can accomplish, and what kinds of problems they encounter daily. Let's begin by examining economic disparities between wealth and poverty. A wealthy individual typically enjoys considerable comfort. They might live in a spacious, well-appointed home, operate a reliable vehicle, and consume nutritious food consistently. They can access medical care when illness occurs, and they can travel internationally for leisure or education. Their children often attend well-resourced schools with small class sizes, modern facilities, and extensive extracurricular programs. They don't experience anxiety about fundamental needs like food, water, shelter, or clothing. Of course, Wealthy people still face problems and challenges, but these difficulties typically differ from those confronting people with fewer resources. Conversely, someone experiencing poverty may work exhaustingly hard simply to survive day by day. They might live in inadequate housing or perhaps lack permanent shelter entirely. They may struggle to afford sufficient food or necessary medicine. Their children may be unable to attend school because the family requires additional income from every capable member. People facing poverty endure chronic stress and uncertainty. They often lack meaningful choices. Their life isn't merely more difficult, it's also more constrained and limited. They may dream of better circumstances, but achieving such dreams can prove extraordinarily difficult when lacking resources, connections, and opportunities. Let's now consider differences between urban and rural life. A person residing in a major city usually accesses numerous services and resources. Cities contain schools, hospitals, shops, public transportation networks, and internet connectivity. Urban life moves rapidly with constant activity. Residents have many opportunities to learn, work, and encounter diverse people. However, city life also creates stress. There's noise pollution, air pollution, traffic congestion, and sometimes profound loneliness, despite being constantly surrounded by others. In rural areas, life typically unfolds at a slower, quieter pace. People often know their neighbors personally and provide mutual support more readily. The air quality is generally better, and life feels more connected to natural rhythms and seasons. However, rural existence presents its own hardships. Many rural communities lack adequate schools or medical facilities. Internet connectivity may be poor or non-existent. Roads might be unpaved and public transportation unavailable. Rural residents may need to travel considerable distances just to access basic services. So, again, we observe that both urban and rural life present different advantages and challenges. Let me share a detailed story to make these concepts more tangible and relatable. Imagine two young women, Emma and Fatima. Emma lives in a modern metropolitan area. She wakes in her comfortable bedroom, enjoys a hot shower with reliable water pressure, eats a nutritious breakfast, and commutes to a private school with excellent facilities. She owns a laptop computer, a smartphone, and has a bedroom filled with books. After school, she participates in piano lessons or attends swimming practice at a nearby sports complex. She completes homework using high-speed internet and sleeps in a quiet, climate-controlled room. Now consider Fatima's reality. She lives in a small village far removed from any major city. Her family struggles economically, and the nearest school is located 3 kilometers from her home. She walks this distance each morning, often in difficult weather conditions, to reach a classroom with no computers, irregular electricity, and insufficient textbooks for all students. After school, she helps her mother prepare meals, cares for younger siblings, and completes household tasks. At night, she studies under a small kerosene lamp when the family can afford fuel. Both young women possess intelligence and ambition. Both desire to learn and grow, but their lives are fundamentally not the same. Their daily challenges exist on entirely different scales. Emma's biggest concern might be achieving a high grade in mathematics class. Fatima's concern might be safely reaching school when heavy rains turn the road to mud. The disparity is profound and undeniable. Consider another comparison involving 2 young men. Thomas and Ibrahim. Thomas lives in a country with a strong economy and low unemployment. After completing his education, he secured employment quickly. He works in a climate-controlled office, receives health insurance through his employer, and enjoys paid vacation time. He can realistically plan for future milestones like homeownership or starting a family. Ibrahim, however, lives in a nation with severe unemployment and limited economic opportunity. Despite earning a university degree through tremendous effort and sacrifice, he cannot find work in his field. He submits countless applications without receiving responses. He feels increasingly discouraged and worried. His dream is to support his family and contribute to society, but circumstances beyond his control prevent this. These examples help us understand that different lives come with qualitatively different challenges, even when two people share similar dreams and aspirations. The paths they must follow to reach those dreams vary enormously. Some people must climb steep mountains, while others walk relatively level terrain. This doesn't indicate that one person is inherently better or more deserving than another. It simply shows us that life distributes circumstances unequally among different individuals. When we understand this reality clearly, we naturally become more compassionate. We reduce judgmental thinking. We stop making statements like, "If I can do it, anyone can do it," because we recognize that not everyone begins from the same starting position. Everyone fights their own battles, even if those struggles aren't visible to observers. So the next time you encounter someone, remember that their life might be vastly different from yours. Their problems might be more severe than they reveal. Their strength might be greater than you imagine. Everyone walks a different road, and because of this fundamental truth, we should approach others with patience, respect, and genuine understanding. The roots of inequality. Having explored how life differs between people, let's delve deeper into a crucial question. Why do these differences exist? Why do some people enjoy easier circumstances while others face persistent hardship? Why do some receive abundant opportunities while others encounter closed doors repeatedly? These are substantial questions, but today we'll address them in accessible terms. Multiple factors explain why people's lives differ so dramatically. Let's examine some of the primary causes: family circumstances, geographical location, health conditions, educational access, and available opportunities. Let's begin with family circumstances. A person's life trajectory often originates with their family of origin. Some people are born into families with financial resources and educational backgrounds. Their parents can provide love, stability, and material necessities: food, clothing, safe housing, and quality education. These children grow up with foundations already established for success. Alternatively, some people are born into families struggling with poverty. Their parents may work multiple jobs, yet still struggle to provide adequately. These children may lack toys, books, or sufficient nutrition. Sometimes they must mature rapidly, assuming adult responsibilities like caring for siblings or contributing financially to household survival. Simply, the family into which we're born creates enormous differences in how life begins for each individual. Next, consider geographical location and national context. This factor profoundly affects life prospects. Some people are born in peaceful, prosperous nations with functioning educational systems. accessible healthcare, clean water infrastructure, and physical security. These individuals grow up feeling protected and have realistic opportunities to pursue education and career advancement. However, some people are born in regions experiencing armed conflict, severe poverty, or political instability. Perhaps employment opportunities are scarce, schools are distant or non-existent, and basic services are unreliable. Some people live in areas prone to natural disasters like cyclones, droughts, or earthquakes. Their daily existence is precarious, requiring constant adaptation just to survive. Again, this isn't something individuals choose. We don't select our birthplace, yet it can completely determine life possibilities. Another fundamental factor is health and physical ability. Health represents a crucial component of life quality. Some people are born with robust, healthy bodies. They can engage in physical activity, pursue education, work productively, and travel without significant limitations. Other people are born with illnesses, disabilities, or chronic conditions. Some may be unable to walk independently, hear, or see. Others may require expensive ongoing medical treatment or intervention. Life becomes substantially more difficult when managing health challenges. Even routine activities require additional time, effort, and resources. This creates yet another dimension of inequality between people's lived experiences. A healthy person might walk to a store without conscious thought. For someone using a wheelchair, this same task might require extensive planning and potentially proves impossible depending on infrastructure. Let's discuss education, which represents a powerful tool for life improvement. Education provides people with knowledge, skills, and opportunities to transform their circumstances. When someone attends school, develops literacy, and studies diverse subjects, they can pursue better employment and make more informed decisions. However, not everyone receives equal educational opportunities. Some children live in areas without schools, or where schools are severely under-resourced. Sometimes teachers lack proper training, classrooms are overcrowded, or materials are outdated or insufficient. In other locations, children attend well-funded schools with trained teachers, modern technology, extensive libraries, and comprehensive curricula. So even in learning, people have dramatically different experiences. Someone who completes university education may have numerous career paths available, while someone who never finished primary school may find securing stable employment extraordinarily difficult. Finally, let's examine opportunities, the chances and options available to an individual throughout life. Opportunities are distributed very unequally. Some people have many doors open before them. They can choose what to study, where to work, and how to spend their time. Others face very few doors. Perhaps they must accept any available employment regardless of preference, simply to earn income. Maybe they must abandon education to support family survival. Sometimes people remain unaware that better opportunities exist because nobody in their community has ever accessed such possibilities. Opportunities depend on numerous factors: financial resources, geographical location, gender, social class, racial or ethnic identity, and sometimes simply luck or chance. When we consider all these elements, family circumstances, geographical context, health conditions, educational access, and available opportunities, we begin comprehending why life isn't equal for everyone. People don't all begin life from the same starting line. Some people enjoy significant head starts, while others must work extraordinarily hard simply to reach a basic starting position. This doesn't mean that success is impossible for people facing difficult circumstances, but it does mean their path is more challenging, and they may require more time, more effort, and more support to achieve similar outcomes. Understanding these structural causes helps us avoid making superficial judgments about others. It also cultivates kindness, patience, and gratitude for whatever advantages we ourselves might possess. When we encounter someone who is struggling, we should remember that we don't know their complete story. Perhaps they're doing their absolute best with minimal resources. Perhaps they're fighting battles completely invisible to observers. Life contains profound differences, and that's part of what makes human existence both beautiful and challenging. The more deeply we understand these differences, the more effectively we can contribute to building a world that is fairer, more supportive, and more compassionate for everyone. Cultivating gratitude and empathy. Having discussed why life differs among people, let's examine something tremendously important: cultivating gratitude for what we have and developing genuine understanding of others' situations. These two qualities can fundamentally transform both how we perceive the world and how we treat other people. They can also significantly enhance our own well-being and life satisfaction. Let's begin with gratitude. In English, we frequently use the word grateful, which means feeling genuinely thankful and appreciative for positive aspects of our lives. Sometimes, when we observe others who possess more than us, more wealth, a larger home, a better job, or greater freedom, we begin feeling dissatisfied or envious. We ask ourselves, why don't I have those things? Or, why is my life so difficult compared to theirs? But here's a perspective worth considering carefully. Even if your life is imperfect and contains challenges, there are invariably things deserving gratitude. Perhaps you have family members who care about you. Perhaps you consume adequate food daily. Perhaps you possess a functioning body or access to education, or even simply the ability to listen to this podcast and learn English. These things may seem ordinary, but they're not ordinary to everyone. Many people worldwide wish they had what you currently possess. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean abandoning ambition or ceasing to work toward improvement. It simply means we don't forget to notice and appreciate the positive things already present in our lives. It helps us feel more content and less chronically stressed. When we pause momentarily to say, I'm grateful for my home, or I'm grateful for this day, it shifts our emotional state. It brings peace to our minds. Gratitude represents a powerful practice, and everyone can cultivate it regardless of how difficult life may be. Now let's discuss another essential concept: understanding others, which we call empathy. Empathy means attempting to feel what another person experiences. It means imagining what life is like from someone else's perspective. When we possess empathy, we don't judge people hastily. We don't declare he's lazy or she should try harder. Instead, we ask, what might this person be experiencing? Or, what if I were in their circumstances? Consider this example. Imagine you notice a man working as a custodian in a large office building. You might think he has a simple job, but if you pause to consider his situation more deeply, perhaps he works 12-hour shifts to support his family. Perhaps he never had access to formal education. Perhaps he's doing his absolute best every single day, despite difficult circumstances. When we attempt to understand his story, we naturally respect him more. That's empathy in action. Empathy enables us to connect authentically with people. It helps us become better friends, better family members, better neighbors, and better global citizens. It reminds us that everyone carries hidden struggles. Some people smile outwardly, but inwardly, they may feel exhausted, sad, or isolated. Some people appear quiet, but internally, they possess tremendous strength and courage. We rarely know someone's complete story, so we should consistently choose kindness. Empathy also teaches us to reduce unhealthy comparison with others. Social media and entertainment often portray seemingly perfect lives, beautiful homes, expensive possessions, and happy families. But authentic life rarely matches these curated images. People typically don't share their pain, anxieties, or problems publicly. When we compare our real, complete life with someone's carefully selected highlight moment, we feel inadequate. But that image represents just one instant, not the full complex reality. When we understand this, we stop comparing and start focusing on our own unique path. Both gratitude and empathy can coexist harmoniously in our hearts. When we feel thankful for our lives, we experience greater peace. When we understand others genuinely, we feel more connected to humanity. These two qualities make us more fully human and help make the world better in countless small ways. For example, when you practice gratitude, you're more likely to help others. Perhaps you share food with someone experiencing hunger. Perhaps you listen attentively to a friend feeling distressed. Perhaps you speak kindly to someone feeling alone and invisible. These small actions emerge from a generous heart. When many people practice these behaviors, our communities become stronger and more caring. So the next time you feel that life is treating you unfairly, try to pause and breathe deeply. Reflect on something you're genuinely grateful for. Then observe the people around you. Ask yourself, what might their life be like? Or, how can I help or support them today? These simple reflections can create significant positive differences, not just in your English learning journey, but throughout your entire life. Remember, we may not all walk the same road, but we can all choose to be more kind, more grateful, and more understanding toward others and ourselves. Lessons from inequality. After discussing how life differs for everyone, why these differences exist, and how we can develop greater gratitude and empathy, let's pose one more essential question. What can we learn from all this? What practical lessons can we integrate into our daily lives from this topic? The first lesson is straightforward yet powerful. Avoid excessive comparison with others. In life, it's remarkably easy to observe someone else and feel inadequate. Perhaps they possess more wealth, more success, or more freedom. Perhaps their life appears flawless from an external perspective. But remember what we've discussed. Everyone walks a different road. You may not know the struggles they face privately, and they may not know the challenges you've overcome courageously. When we stop comparing and start focusing on our own unique journey, we experience greater peace and confidence. We learn to respect and honor our own story. Another important lesson is this: life is not fair, but we can still choose kindness. It's undeniably true that some people receive more advantages than others. Some people benefit from fortunate circumstances, while others do not. But we can choose our response. We can choose kindness even when facing difficulty. We can choose to help others even when we don't have abundance. Being kind doesn't require wealth. It only requires a generous heart. When we understand that everyone walks a different road, we stop judging others superficially. We become gentler and more patient in our assessments and interactions. This represents something the world desperately needs. More people who genuinely care, more people who try sincerely to understand others' experiences. We also learn the profound value of gratitude. When we understand how challenging life can be for some people, we begin noticing positive aspects of our own existence. Perhaps you have food, clean water, a bed, and shelter. These aren't trivial things. Countless people lack these basics. When we feel genuinely thankful for what we already possess, we stop constantly desiring more. We feel more satisfied and content. Gratitude transforms what we have into enough. It helps us appreciate the present moment instead of perpetually chasing the next acquisition or achievement. Another lesson concerns strength and respect. Sometimes we observe people who are poor or struggling and unconsciously assume weakness. But that assumption is profoundly wrong. Many people facing hardship demonstrate extraordinary strength. Imagine someone who works 12 hours daily just to purchase food for their family, or a mother raising children alone without support, or a student studying by candlelight because electricity is unavailable. These people aren't weak. They possess powerful resilience that privileged observers often fail to recognize. We learn to respect people for their strength, even when their life appears simple or small from the outside. We also learn that every small action matters significantly. Perhaps we cannot transform the entire world or solve every problem, but we can do small things with love and intention. We can help one person. We can speak kindly. We can share what we have. These small actions can improve someone's day meaningfully. When we repeat them consistently, they become integral to who we are. They become our way of making the world slightly better, one person at a time. This understanding that everyone walks a different road can also improve our functioning in workplaces, schools, and communities. For example, if you're an educator, this awareness helps you understand students better. Not all students come from similar backgrounds. Some may need additional support. Some may need more time. If you're an employee, it helps you collaborate more effectively with colleagues. You begin seeing people with fresh eyes, with greater patience and consideration. If you're a student, you start respecting classmates more fully. You stop mocking others because you understand that we all carry different stories and challenges. This lesson can also facilitate emotional growth and maturity. We develop greater emotional intelligence and resilience. Instead of constantly asking, "Why is life unfair?" we start asking, "What can I do with the life I have?" We focus on what we can control: our actions, our words, our choices, our attitudes. This shift provides genuine power and authentic peace. So to synthesize everything from this one simple concept, everyone walks a different road, we learn numerous profound lessons. We learn to reduce comparison. We learn to practice kindness. We learn to cultivate gratitude. We learn to respect others and contribute helpfully in small ways. We learn to live with greater heart, greater care, and greater strength. The beautiful aspect of these lessons is that they are not complicated or difficult. You don't need wealth or fame to practice them. You simply need to pause, reflect, and act with kindness in your daily life. Whether you're studying, working, at home, or in a new country learning English, these lessons will help you connect authentically with others and feel more at peace with yourself. Ask yourself, what can I do today to feel more grateful? Who can I understand more deeply? How can I demonstrate a little more kindness even when life feels challenging? These are valuable questions to contemplate not just today, but every single day going forward. Summary and reflection. We've reached the conclusion of today's episode. Let's take a moment to review what we've explored together. Our theme today was, everyone walks a different road. It's a brief phrase, yet it contains substantial wisdom about human existence. We began by understanding what this phrase means, that every person experiences a different life with unique problems, opportunities, and circumstances. We learned that no two lives are identical, and that's perfectly acceptable. We discussed the numerous ways life varies between people. Some reside in affluent urban areas, while others inhabit isolated rural communities. Some are born into wealthy families, while others grow up experiencing poverty. Some enjoy good health, while others cope with serious illness or disability. We also examined how education, family background, and environment shape individual life paths. These factors directly affect the opportunities we access and the challenges we must navigate. Then we discuss the importance of gratitude for what we have. Even when life is imperfect, we can always identify something positive to appreciate. We also explored empathy, the practice of trying to understand what life is like for other people. When we cultivate this capacity, we become more kind and more authentically human. Finally, we asked, what can we learn from this reality? We learn to avoid excessive comparison with others. We learn to practice patience and understanding. We learn that we can still choose kindness and strength even when life is difficult. These lessons prove useful not just in English class, but in real life, across every culture and in every situation. Before we conclude, I want to leave you with a simple question to reflect upon, or perhaps practice speaking about, in English. What is one thing in your life that you feel genuinely grateful for today? It doesn't need to be something large or impressive. Perhaps it's your family, your health, a friendship, your employment, or simply the opportunity to learn English. Reflect on this and attempt to express it in a complete English sentence. This represents an excellent way to practice both speaking skills and positive thinking simultaneously. Thank you sincerely for listening to this episode of Learn English Today. I genuinely hope it benefited not just your English listening comprehension, but also encouraged you to think about life from a new perspective. Remember, the more you listen, the more you learn, the more you practice, the more confident you become. Don't forget that you can replay this episode repeatedly. You can pause and repeat sentences to practice pronunciation. You can also note down new vocabulary and attempt using these words in your own speaking or writing. I'm genuinely proud of you for choosing to invest your time learning something meaningful in English. Keep progressing, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep developing as a kind and thoughtful person. Take care of yourself, and I'll speak with you again in the next episode.